Chukwudi Nwoke had everything: power, fame, and a billionaire's fortune, but not the one thing his heart truly needed: genuine love. Tired of fake smiles and gold-digging relationships, he disappeared from his luxurious life and returned as an ordinary man, determined to find someone who could love him for who he was, not what he owned. But this simple quest would lead him into secrets, danger, and a love story he never expected. Like and subscribe for more amazing African stories. Chukwudi Nwoke had lived his entire life surrounded by wealth, the kind of wealth that made people bow before you, even before knowing your name. Born into money, groomed in luxury, and celebrated across Nigeria as one of the youngest billionaires of his time, Chukwudi commanded respect the moment he stepped into a room. His penthouse towered above Victoria Island like a crown that shone over the city. His cars didn't just purr, they announced his arrival. His businesses fed thousands, his name opened doors, and his presence turned heads. Yet, he had never felt more alone. Every relationship he had ever entered had collapsed under the weight of one secret truth. No one loved him. They loved his money, smiles, praises, the sudden sweetness when cameras appeared, the fake concern when he fell sick, the long speeches about support and love that always ended with a request for money. He was tired. Then came the final straw. His most recent relationship, the one he had believed would last, crumbled like sand under rainfall. She had told him everything he wanted to hear. "You are my world, Chucks. My heart beats for you. I don't care about money." But one night, he overheard her on the phone, laughing with a friend. "If he wasn't rich, my sister, do you think I would be wasting my time here? I'm planning my future. This one is just an investment." Her words sliced through him like a blade. That night, Chukwudi stood by his penthouse window, staring down at the glowing city he ruled over, and for the first time in years he felt small, tired. "Hello. Is this my life?" he whispered to the night breeze. Surrounded by people, yet completely alone. The city did not answer, only the distant horns of traffic and the whisper of the Atlantic waves below. The next morning, he made a decision that would shake everyone who knew him. He packed a single backpack. No designer clothes. No expensive watches. No entourage. No security team. Just a simple t-shirt, jeans, slippers, and a quiet determination burning in his eyes. He walked to the mirror and studied his reflection. Not the billionaire the world adored, but the man he once was before fame, before fortune, before betrayal made him suspicious of every smile. "Maybe," he murmured, "I need to be nobody to finally be myself." With that, he stepped out of his mansion, got into a simple taxi, not one of his cars, and told the driver, "Oga, please take me somewhere nobody knows me." "Where exactly?" the confused driver asked. Chukwudi smiled faintly. "A place where love is still real." The driver nodded, unaware that he was carrying one of the richest men in the country. And so, without looking back, Chukwudi Nwoke disappeared from his world of wealth, leaving behind headlines, employees, friends, and a life many would kill to have. But he wasn't running from money. He was running toward truth. And somewhere far away, beyond the noise of Lagos and the glitter of fame, his real story was about to begin. The taxi drove for hours, leaving behind the glittering skyline of Lagos until the city slowly melted into long stretches of quiet roads, green fields, and dusty rural paths. Chukwudi leaned his head against the window, watching the world change, watching himself change. "Are you sure you want this place, Oga?" the driver finally asked. They had arrived at a small town called Udi, nestled between hills and farmland. It wasn't rich. It wasn't famous. It wasn't special. And that was exactly why it felt perfect. "Yes," Chukwudi said with a nod. "This is fine." He paid the driver, quietly without revealing his real identity, and stepped into the warm, dusty air. No one stared. No one whispered. No one rushed to greet him. Here he was simply a stranger. Not a billionaire. Not a celebrity. Not a man defined by money. He liked that. Derelict house, a new life begins. Chukwudi found a small, old-fashioned guest house run by a cheerful elderly woman named Mama Ebel. She looked him up and down, her eyes sharp but kind. "You're not from here," she said simply. "No, Ma," he replied. "You running from something." He paused. "Running toward peace," he said quietly. She laughed, shaking her head. "Peace? My son, you will find plenty of that here. We have more peace than money." Her humor warmed him. She offered him a tiny room with a creaking fan, an old mattress, and a window that overlooked farmland. Nothing luxurious, nothing modern. But when Chukwudi lay on that bed, he felt lighter than he had in years. Sheaf of rice the day he met her. The next morning, the sun had barely risen when he stepped outside to explore the village. Children ran barefoot through the red earth. Women sold vegetables in woven baskets. Men returned from the farms with hoes on their shoulders. It was a world untouched by pretense. Then he saw her, a young woman, maybe in her mid-20s, kneeling beside a wooden stall, arranging fruits in perfect gentle rows. Her natural beauty wasn't loud. It was warm, calm, grounded. Her smile wasn't forced, it reached her eyes. She wore a simple wrapper and blouse, but her presence stood out like sunlight in the early morning haze. Her name, he soon learned, was Amarachi. She glanced at him and offered a polite smile. "You must be the traveler Mama Ebel is talking about." Chukwudi chuckled. "Word moves fast here." "Everything moves fast," she teased. "Except the people." They both laughed harmlessly. An easy laugh, one he hadn't felt in years. Amarachi didn't look at his clothes. She didn't ask about his job. She didn't attempt to guess his worth. He was just another man. And for Chukwudi that was refreshing. Simplicity is a teacher. Amarachi pointed to a chair near her fruit stand. "Sit, traveler. You look lost." "Maybe I am," he admitted. "You'll find yourself here," she said softly. "Udi has a way of showing people who they really are." He studied her, how she moved, how she spoke with honesty that didn't demand anything. For the first time in a very long time, someone was looking at him, not at his wallet. The wind blew gently. The village animals wandered freely. Women called to each other across the market. The world felt real. This simple morning marked the beginning of something powerful. A connection, a transformation, and a love story deeper than wealth could ever buy. But unknown to Chukwudi, danger was already following his trail. Not everyone was happy that the billionaire had disappeared. And some people were willing to do anything, to drag him back into the life he was trying to escape. Chukwudi settled gradually into his new life in Udi. Days passed in a quiet rhythm he had never known before. Wake up early, breathe fresh air, walk through the market, talk to the villagers, and most unexpectedly, spend time with Amarachi. Every morning, her fruit stall became his destination. Every afternoon, her laughter became the highlight of his day. And every evening, her voice lingered in his mind like a soft melody. But beneath her warm smile and calm strength, there was something she never spoke about. Quiet sadness, hidden weight. Chukwudi felt it, but didn't push. After all, he had his own secrets too. Sheaf of rice, a heart learns to be human again. One morning, he offered to help Amarachi carry baskets of oranges to the village square. She laughed in surprise. "A whole traveler like you, carrying baskets. Let me not hear Mama Ebel laugh at you." "I need the exercise," Chukwudi joked. "City life made me lazy." But when he lifted the basket, Amarachi blinked in surprise. "You're stronger than you look." He smirked. If only she knew that this traveler had a private gym larger than the entire village square. But he said nothing. As they walked, she asked, "So, do you have anyone? A wife? Girlfriend?" Chukwudi hesitated. Women had chased him his whole life, but never for him. "No," he finally said. "I've never found someone who truly sees me." Amarachi's steps slowed. "I understand," she whispered. In this world, everyone is looking for something. Money, beauty, fame. But very few look for a real heart. She spoke like someone who had lived through disappointment, through betrayal, through pain. Chukwudi wanted to ask, but something else interrupted. A black SUV sped past the market. Shiny, tinted, and completely out of place in the rural village. Amarachi noticed Chukwudi's sudden stiffness. "Do you know that car?" He forced a small smile. "No. Probably just passing through." But it wasn't. Briefcase back in Lagos. The hunt begins. 3 men stood around a polished glass table in Chukwudi's mansion in Lagos. At the center was Mr. Benson, his longtime personal assistant, loyal, strict, and worried sick. "He has been gone for 2 weeks, Benson said. "No phone calls, no transactions, no messages." A younger staff member swallowed nervously. "But sir, should we inform the media?" Benson slammed the table. "No. That is the last thing we do. If people realize the billionaire is missing, chaos will follow." He pulled out an envelope with photographs taken from traffic CCTV. "We traced him to a rural area called Udi. Someone must find him. He is not safe." The younger staff nodded. "I will send a team." "No," Benson cut in. "I'll go myself." Crescent moon the night Amarachi finally spoke. Back in Udi, silence filled the village square as the evening settled. Amarachi sat beside Chukwudi on a wooden bench under a dim lamp. The crickets sang softly. The breeze carried the scent of fresh leaves. "Chukwudi," she began, her voice trembling slightly. "Yes. There is something about me you should know." He turned to her gently. "You don't have to tell me anything until you're ready." "No," she whispered. "You deserve to know." She took a deep breath. "I have been hurt before. Deeply. I don't trust easily. I don't love easily." Her fingers tightened around the bench. "A man came into my life pretending to love me. I believed him. But he only wanted something from me. And when he left, he shattered everything." Chukwudi felt his chest tighten. What did he want? Amarachi looked away, tears filling her eyes. "My inheritance. My late father's land. He thought marrying me would give him ownership. When I refused," her voice broke, "he disappeared and left me to handle the debts he created." Chukwudi's jaw clenched. A familiar anger stirred inside him. A protective, fierce anger. No woman deserved that kind of betrayal. "Amarachi," he said softly, "you deserve someone who chooses you for you." She looked up at him, eyes glistening. "And you," she murmured, "you speak like a man running from something." Chukwudi inhaled sharply. "I am," he admitted. Their eyes locked. 2 broken hearts. 2 hidden truths. 2 people rebuilding slowly, without knowing they were changing each other. Cloud with lightning, and then the storm arrived. The next morning the same black SUV returned. But this time it didn't pass by. Stop. 2 men stepped out. Sharp suits, dark sunglasses. They scanned the market. Chukwudi felt his heartbeat jump. They weren't travelers. They weren't locals. They were searching for him. Amarachi noticed the fear in his eyes. "Chukwudi, who are you?" He swallowed hard. "I think my past has caught up with me." The black SUV idled in the center of Udi Market like a shadow cast over the sun. People paused mid-conversation, traders lowered their baskets, and children moved behind their mothers. Foreign cars didn't come here. Strangers didn't come here. Not unless something serious was happening. Chukwudi's pulse hammered like a drum in his chest. The men stepped out, tall, sharp-faced, alert, scanning. One of them carried a tablet. His picture was on the screen. "No." Amarachi saw the fear ripple across his face. "Chukwudi," she whispered, "tell me what is happening." He didn't answer immediately. His throat felt tight. He was caught between the truth he had been hiding and the woman he didn't want to lose. The taller man spoke loudly into the market. We are looking for someone. If you know any new traveler in this village. Chukwudi grabbed Amarachi's wrist gently. Please, he whispered. Just walk with me. Don't look back. They slipped between stalls, weaving through the crowd, Chukwudi trying to stay hidden beneath the shade of colorful umbrellas and fruit baskets. Amarachi kept pace beside him, her voice low but trembling. Chukwudi, who are these people? Why are they searching for you? His heart sank. He couldn't lie, not anymore. I didn't come to Udi only for peace, he said softly. I came to escape. Escape what? She asked. Escape being seen as a bank account. Escape lies. Escape people who used me. Escape a life where everything looked beautiful but felt empty. Amarachi stopped walking. Chukwudi, just say it. He turned to her, chest rising and falling, breath heavy. I'm not a traveler. He swallowed. I'm a billionaire. The words hung in the air like a stone dropped in still water. Amarachi blinked slowly. Her lips parted. Her eyes widened. But not in excitement. In disbelief. You what? She whispered. I run one of the largest companies in Lagos, Chukwudi said, voice quiet but steady. My life is cameras, security, fake friends, women who smile when they see the money, not the man. Amarachi stepped back slightly. So everything here. This version of you, it was pretend? No, he said quickly, shaking his head. This version is the real me. The only real me. She didn't move. She didn't run. But her heart was visibly racing. Why didn't you tell me? She whispered. Because I needed someone who didn't care about my wealth, he answered. I needed someone who saw me first. Amarachi's eyes glistened, not from greed but from hurt. But Chukwudi, trust is built on truth. He felt those words hit like a blade. Before he could speak, a deep voice thundered behind them. Chukwudi Nwoke. They both turned sharply. Mr. Benson stood there, sweating, panting, furious. So this is where you've been hiding, he growled. We have searched the entire state. Villagers watched in confusion. Amarachi slowly stepped away from Chukwudi. Benson continued. Sir, the board is threatening collapse. Your company needs you. Your mother is worried sick. Do you understand the chaos you created? Chukwudi's face hardened. I needed time. Time. Benson snapped. You vanished. Without guards, without an escort, without a phone. What if something happened to you? Chukwudi clenched his jaw. Maybe that's exactly what I needed. To be somewhere nobody treated me like a trophy. Amarachi's voice broke through the tension, soft, almost trembling. So everything you told me, everything we talked about, was real? Chukwudi turned to her immediately. Everything, Amarachi. Every word. Every moment. She looked down at her hands, her voice thin. I don't care about your money. But I needed honesty. My last relationship destroyed my ability to trust. And now, her voice cracked. You hid something this big from me. Chukwudi's chest tightened painfully. Amarachi, please. Give me a chance to explain. I didn't hide it because I wanted to deceive you. I hid it because I wanted to know if my heart could finally be safe. She blinked away tears. And now? Now what happens? Before Chukwudi could answer, Benson stepped between them. Sir, we must leave. Immediately. Chukwudi ignored him. Amarachi, he whispered, taking a slow step toward her. Tell me what you feel right now. Please. She looked up at him, eyes filled with emotion she couldn't hide. I feel, she whispered, voice shaking. Afraid. Afraid of me? He asked softly. No. A tear slid down her cheek. I'm afraid that loving you will break me. Chukwudi's heart nearly stopped. Amarachi, he breathed. But she stepped back. I need time, she whispered. Then she turned and walked away. Chukwudi stood still, watching her fade into the crowd, his chest aching with a pain he had never known. Benson touched his shoulder gently. Sir, let's go home. Chukwudi stared at the distant path Amarachi had taken. "No," he whispered. "I'm not leaving her." 3 days passed. 3 long, heavy days since Amarachi walked away from Chukwudi in the market. She tried to focus on her tailoring, but her hands shook each time she threaded a needle. She tried to sleep, but her mind replayed his voice. She tried to forget, but her heart refused. People told her she should move on. A billionaire. A man with that kind of life. He will forget you in a second. But Amarachi knew something no one else did. Chukwudi had looked at her. Like she mattered. Not like a prize. Not like a project. But like a home he didn't know he was missing. Still, the fear of being hurt again kept her walls up. Until danger came knocking. Fire, the return of the one who hurt her. That evening, as the sun dipped behind the palm trees, Amarachi was closing her shop when someone stepped into her path. Her old nightmare. Chukwudi. The ex-fiancé who almost ruined her life. The man who cheated on her, drained her savings, and threatened her when she left. His smile was wicked. "So this is where you've been hiding, Amma? I heard you found another rich man to deceive." Fear gripped her chest. "Leave me alone," she whispered. He stepped closer. "You think you'll embarrass me and move on? Never." He grabbed her arm harshly. And then a hand seized Ikechukwu from behind. Strong, cold, and shaken. Chukwudi. He had come. He pinned Ikechukwu with a stare so dark, so controlled that the man trembled. "Touch her again," Chukwudi said quietly. "And I will personally make sure you answer for every suffering you caused her." Ikechukwu tried to laugh, but it sounded weak. "You think money scares me?" "No," Chukwudi replied calmly. "But evidence will." He lifted his phone. The screen glowed. A recording. Of Ikechukwu threatening Amarachi earlier. "I've been watching," Chukwudi said. "I've been protecting her from afar. Because I wanted to respect her space. But now," he took a slow step closer. "You just made a very big mistake." 2 security officers emerged from a waiting vehicle. Real police officers, not bodyguards. "This is the man," Chukwudi said. "Arrest him." Ikechukwu lunged at Amarachi in desperation. Chukwudi blocked him instantly, pushing her behind him protectively. Minutes later, Ikechukwu was handcuffed and dragged away, screaming empty threats. Amarachi stared at Chukwudi, breath trembling. You came." He exhaled shakily. "I never left." Yellow heart when love finally speaks the truth. She stepped closer, tears filling her eyes. "Chukwudi, why would you protect me like this?" He took her hands gently. "Because I love you, Amarachi." Her breath caught. "I didn't fall for your beauty. I didn't fall for your kindness. I didn't fall for your strength." He paused, voice deep with emotion. "I fell. Because for the first time in my life someone saw me. Not the billionaire. Not the empire. Just the man." Amarachi's tears spilled over. "I was afraid," she whispered. "Afraid that the difference between our worlds would destroy me." He cupped her cheeks gently. "Then let's build a new world, Amarachi. One that belongs only to us." She closed her eyes as a tear slid down her cheek. "I don't want your money," she whispered. "I know. I just want you." Chukwudi inhaled sharply. "And you have me," he said, voice trembling. Crescent moon, the proposal under the palm trees. A soft breeze passed. The night grew quiet. And Chukwudi slowly went down on one knee. Amarachi gasped. He reached into his pocket. Not for a diamond. But for a small wooden ring. Simple, carved by hand. "I made this here in Udi," he said softly. "Because here. I found the part of me that was missing." Her lips quivered. "Amarachi Nwoke, will you marry me? Not the billionaire. Not the businessman. But the man who found his heart the day he met you." Amarachi pressed both hands to her mouth as tears flowed. "Chukwudi," she whispered, voice shaking. "Yes." He stood and pulled her into a tight, trembling embrace. And there, under the moonlit palm trees, two worlds finally blended into one. Love without pretense, truth without fear, and a billionaire who found everything he was searching for by pretending to have nothing.